people watching A Better Life. I'm your host, Hank Hennigan, and I am so proud to have on our show today Mr. Harold John, who is running for the U.S. Congressional District 2 seat here in the state of Louisiana. How you doing, Harold?
I'm doing just fine.
All right.
Looking forward to Saturday morning.
Yes.
Looking forward to Saturday day. You say it like that.
Yeah, all day. All right.
Yes.
Harold, tell us a little about yourself, where you live, where you're from, and your background, and speak to the people watching A Better Life and tell them about who you are.
Yeah, my name is Harold John, and don't get thrown off by the last name. It never bothers my two cousins, Olivia Newton and Elton, so my last name is John. If you saw 60 Minutes this weekend, I'm a graduate of St. Augustine High School. And when I left St. Augustine High School, I went to Dillard University. I didn't have the opportunity to graduate from Dillard University, unfortunately, but I am an alumnus of Dillard University. I have 6 years in the United States Navy. While in the Navy, I was an aviation electronics technician. And unfortunately, when I came home out of the military, I wasn't able to find a job in my field. I wound up working at Cox Cable for a short time, and then I started working at the United States Postal Service. And I think the good Lord steered me in that direction because that's where I've been doing a lot of good work. I started off as a union steward back in maybe 1990, and in about 2001, I became a state officer. I'm on the executive board for the State Association of Letter Carriers. Matter of fact, my title is the liaison to the 2nd Congressional District for the State Association of Letter Carriers.
Wow.
So I'm the liaison between postal matters and Congressman Cedric Richmond's office, and I've been doing that for almost 20 years. I'm also on the executive board for the Greater New Orleans AFL-CIO, which is the Central Labor Council here with all the unions. We have about 50-some affiliates. And I've been on that executive board for about 20 years also, as well as I'm on the local advisory committee for one of the local community organizations, Step Up Louisiana, and they do a lot of good community work right here in the city, district, as well as in the state. So I've been actively involved in political affairs and legislative affairs basically for over 30 years now. I've been fighting for workers' rights. And I think it was just a calling, so here I am. My main reason for running for office is I want to be a voice for people that feel like they either don't have a voice or that their voice is not being heard. And I also wanted to bring hope to those that feel like they've lost hope in the system. And that's unfortunate that politics has become so partisan, so tribal that people have kind of gotten they're kind of exhausted and tired, and they don't think that the system is working. They don't think it's functioning properly. But the main reason that what motivated me to run was because of the issue here in the city with the charter schools. I think the charter schools in New Orleans is the only major metropolitan area in the country that is totally charter. The charter schools were supposed to be offered because it was supposed to offer choice. Well, how can you have choice if everything is totally charter?
So excuse me, Harold. So you're saying all the schools are charter schools?
In the New Orleans, yes.
Wow, didn't know that.
Yeah, well, there was a little hullabaloo going on in the state capitol during this week with a couple of representatives. But anyway, we're trying to get that situation resolved, and I think that something needs to be done. Half of the charters are grading at a D or an F, and the average grade for all the charters is a C. So. Wow. Just my opinion, I think that they're failing. They're failing us. They're failing our kids. And the only ones I think that are profiting are those that are the head of the charters and maybe possibly some of our politicians. So I don't see what benefit that it has been to. And here's the problem with the charters. The charters are spreading like a cancer throughout the district and throughout the state, because their tentacles are reaching over into Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and up northern Louisiana also. So even though New Orleans is kind of sort of ground zero, those charters are spreading all throughout the state. So I think we need to kind of like put a moratorium on the expansion of the charters until we can figure out if they're actually doing what they're supposed to do.
So what you're saying, basically, a charter school is almost becoming a private school funded by the government. Is that correct?
It's funded by public money, and right. You're absolutely positively correct. That's basically what has happened, and the municipalities that need the funds aren't getting them. And see what happens if a charter school is failing, then the only thing they do is replace the administration with another administration. And guess what? Sometimes those people that they replace them have come from other failing charters.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so we need to get some sort of we need to do a study, and we need to do a study that's going to be done, independent study, so that we can assess properly whether or not they're doing what they're supposed to do and what they promised to do.
Yeah, I grew up in North Baton Rouge and went to a great public school system there. My siblings, my parents, my grandparents did, and even for several years I ran a mentoring program at my high school until they closed it down, and they just recently opened it back up. But I know what you're talking about regarding, I guess, public school versus charter schools, and I feel you hard on that. And we have a lot to do in turning around the school system. There's no doubt about that. There's great schools. There's no doubt about it. Great principals and teachers, but they do need a lot of improvement in the state of Louisiana, and I'm assuming in District 2, U.S. Congressional District 2.
Absolutely, positively.
Yeah. All right, good people watching A Better Life. I hear Brother Harold John's heart and that about the school system in District 2, and we're going to be right back to a second segment to talk about some changes that he sees that need to be done in District 2. We'll be right back with A Better Life. Welcome back to A Better Life. I'm your host, Hank Hennigan, and this show we have today, we heard from our first segment, Mr. Harold John. How you doing, Harold? I'm
doing fine, just fine.
And Harold John, as we said, is running from U.S. Congressional District in the state of Louisiana, District number 2. And we heard his heart about the school system and what needs to be done to improve it there. Mr. Harold, tell us what you further need, what needs to change, and what you're going to present if elected to Congressman District 2, what needs to be presented and made law or change the existing laws.
Let me just say that, we judge everything here in New Orleans, pre-Katrina and post-Katrina. And one thing Katrina did, unfortunately for the city of New Orleans, it did two devastating things. It got rid of affordable housing. We had a lot of affordable housing pre-Katrina. And right now we have a lot of those homes that were affordable housing have been turned into short-term rentals or Airbnbs. And so we have a housing crisis here in the city. And I would like to have some effective legislation that would deal with the situation with the housing. We have to do a smart housing mix. When we do new construction, we have to make sure that we allocate, we put aside some, structures for people of low income and for our seniors to make sure that they have some affordable housing.
I hear you hard on that. As I like to tell people, I served on the board of directors for 16 years, and I was chairman for several of those years of the East Baton Rouge Parish Mortgage Finance Authority. And what we did is we sold bonds to create mortgages for first-time homebuyers in East Baton Rouge Parish. And to see a mom with 5 children or a young family with children or just a single person that needed to buy their first-time home, that was really a heart-touching thing happened. So I hear your heart on that.
Well, what happened here was we got a lot of road home money. And when we got the road home money, naturally people renovated their homes. But when they renovated their homes, what it did is it increased their property value. And when you increase the property value, you also increase the property taxes.
That's what I said.
And you also increase the cost of homeowners insurance. A lot of those people, consequently, who weren't paying because the homestead exemption covered them, who weren't paying those, they weren't paying any property taxes because their properties were valued within that homestead exemption rate, inside that bubble. So what happened was some of them can't afford the property taxes. Now they can't afford the insurance and they're losing their homes. Outsiders are buying the homes and turning them into these short-term rentals. And we also are being, like, thoughtfully, mind you, but we also are being gentrified. So it's affecting the culture. It's affecting the the affordable housing. So it's having a devastating effect here in the city, and that's my opinion. But let's move to the second issue. The second thing that the Hurricane Katrina did was devastated our education system. It turned us totally charter, and we also lost a bunch of teachers lost their jobs, good union middle class paying jobs, as well as all the wraparound people that are associated with the school system. So now we have kids. You can have 3 kids in one household. One is going to school across the street. One is going to school uptown, and one is going to school across the river. And then they're trying to hold a parent. Well, that's because of the one app system. And then they're trying to hold a parent accountable for not being able to make the parent-teacher meetings. And sometimes those parent-teacher meetings are on the same night.
I mean, I grew up in North Baton Rouge, and it was school in your neighborhood. I rode my bike to school first through the 9th grade. And if it had been cool to ride it to Estruma High School, I'd have rode it to Estruma. But I mean, we were neighborhood elementary schools, neighborhood junior high schools, and high schools as well. And that's what it needs to turn back to. I believe that. Correct.
What we need to have is a dedicated effort to get some community schooling back in and there's already legislation for that. And so we need to put additional funds into that legislation so that can happen here in the city of New Orleans, as well as throughout the district. The third issue that I would try and tackle is the situation in Cancer Alley. And I'm going to be honest with you. You all have a 7-0. I'm taking it. I've done a Zoom on this before, but it's been a while. You all have a 70805 zip code and a 70807 zip code, I think, where there's major industry, but the community is poor as hell. And that's part of that is due to the industrial tax exemption program. And so you got these industries here, these petrochemical industries that are making money hand over fist, but the people in the community are suffering tremendously because they're not benefiting from any of it. Recently, the governor put some of that in the hands of local autonomy. But I mean, we're still not reaping the benefits, any tax benefits from a lot of these big industries. And I'm gonna be honest with you, when I crossed that bridge from Baton Rouge going towards Lafayette, I can smell and taste those chemicals. When I go into river parishes, I can smell and taste those chemicals. So if I can smell and taste it while I'm in my vehicle, imagine what the people who live in the area are dealing with. So I'm happy that the president, Joe Biden, has actually uttered the words "Cancer Alley," and hopefully we can address and deal with that. I'm in favor of I think Medicare. Healthcare should be a right and not a privilege. And I think we can come up with some ways to pass Medicare for all, where it would benefit all citizens, because we have citizens that are going bankrupt simply because they cannot afford to pay their health costs, and we have citizens that are real sick simply because they can't afford to go to the doctor until it's an emergency. So we've got emergency room health care instead of preventive health care like we should have.
Okay, good people watching The Better Life, you hear the heart of Mr. Harold John, and I really feel his heart regarding the needs of the people in District 2, the congressional district seat. And we will be right back for our final segment. He will get more into how you can pull the button to vote for Mr. Harold John. We'll be right back. Welcome back to A Better Life. I'm your host, Hank Hennigan, and we've had two great segments of our show here with Mr. Harold John. Mr. Harold John is a resident of Louisiana and has been, and he is a candidate for U.S. Congressional District Seat 2. All right, Mr. Harold, what's your ballot number? What's your website? What do the people need to do this Saturday, March the 20th?
Yeah, my ballot number is number 7. Oh, lucky number 7. You can't forget that. And my domain is www.voteharoldjohn.com. And you can go to the website and see some of the good things that I'm in favor of, in addition to what we discussed earlier. My slogan is I care. And I think that's what politicians need to do more of. And by I care, I mean, I will be independent, I will bring integrity, and I will bring inclusion into the district. And the inclusion is because we have a diverse district and we have a diverse people in the district. So therefore, I will try and be as inclusive as possible. I would also like to bring compassion. And I think that's what we have left. We talk about morals, but I don't know if we fall back on our morals when we do some of the legislation we do, because if we did, I don't think we could do some of the things that I don't think we could vote for some of the things that we vote for and pass some of the legislation that we pass. I would also bring courage and conviction. I would also accountability, accessibility, and availability, because I don't think that the politicians make themselves available enough to the people in the district. Very seldom do you see the politicians once they've run for office. It's unfortunate, but you don't hear from them, or you don't even hear from their staff. So I will make sure that something like that does not happen. I would also like to bring reverence and respect and righteousness to the seat. And last but not least, I would like to bring economic, education, and environmental justice and that's those things that I would fight for collectively. So when I say I care, those are the elements that I care about. I was born in Lafayette General, maybe it might have been Charity Hospital at the time. We moved here to the city of New Orleans when I was 11 months old. So this is home. So
Yeah.
I love this city dearly. I love this district and the state. As a matter of fact, I love this country. And I think, you know, we need to fall back on our principles of democracy. And we need to like make sure that the system or systems is working for everybody and not just for those that are at the top that are making the most money. So that's my slogan. And that's what I would love to see happen again. I'm Harold John, number 7 on the ballot. And I'm hopeful that I can get your vote on Saturday, March the 20th. If I don't win outright, then hopefully I make the runoff, and I'll see you all again before April 24th, which would be the runoff date.
Okay, Harold, give us the 3 A's and the three R's again: accessibility, and then
accessibility, accountability, and availability. And the 3 R's are reverence, righteousness, and respect.
I love that. I love that campaign slogan and everything, and that's good, because if someone lives in your congressional district and they have no access to you, they feel, you know, left out. And availability of you being there speaking to them.
Yeah, well, here's the problem with this district. You have 10 parishes
exactly
in the district, and guess what? If you're going to be on my staff, at least 2 days out of the week, you're going to have to visit some of those parishes, because I feel like if you can't come to me, then I have to go to you. So therefore, if you want to work on my staff and you want to be in one of the satellite offices, then you're going to have to do a little traveling. And guess what? You'll be compensated the next day. For instance, if you had to travel be somewhere from 2 to 6 or from 3 to 7, then you just come in the next day instead of 9, you come in for 1 o'clock. But I'm going to make sure that my staff will be able to reach everybody. And also, when you have community groups that have meetings, I want members of my staff to be there so that they know that my staff cares as well as I care. And so they can keep me up on what's going on in the district. And I can, from DC, see if I can affect change concerning the issues that are here in the district. So that's some of the things that I will do to make sure that, you know, the voices are heard and that I can keep touch with what's going on the ground here in the district.
You know, and when I grew up in North Baton Rouge, and they had a daily several passenger trains from Baton Rouge to downtown New Orleans. And I love riding on the train, and you know that would be and that went straight through your congressional district, what you represent, and you know what you're running for. Every one of those parishes from North Baton Rouge on down to Jefferson and Orleans Parish. Is that correct?
Well, you see, yeah, absolutely. Well, you see what you just said? That what you just said is beautiful. That's a beautiful segue, because I'm in favor of a high-speed rail system where we can bring workers from those parishes to New Orleans, and we can also bring workers from New Orleans to those parishes, so you don't have a brain drain, or you don't have a lack of people that are qualified to work on some of these jobs, and that would benefit everybody.
Oh, yes.
That's what they have in the northern part of the United States. They have that in between maybe Philadelphia and DC, all the way to New York, maybe all the way to Boston. Yeah. They have that high-speed rail, and that is something that would be very beneficial to the people here in the district, especially considering how big the district is.
Yes.
Something like that would be extremely beneficial.
Yeah, I mean, me and several of my friends, when we were in high school, my dad took us down to the train station. We went from Baton Rouge to New Orleans just to go to the Audubon Zoo, just to see a giraffe or elephant, something we'd never seen before. So,
and we also need more funding for that also.
Yes. Well, I really hear your heart, Brother Harold. Why don't you tell us again, in closing out here in the last couple of minutes of our show, A Better Life, just look there to the residents of District 2 and tell them you get out to vote this Saturday.
Well, I've got people on the ground, and we're going to be hitting all the major, places where people congregate. We're going to be putting out the push cards. We're going to be putting out the signs. We're going to try our darndest to get people out there to vote. We're going to try our best to get them motivated. It's extremely difficult because this is a special election, and it's unfortunate that because it's a special election, we're not to get people to come out. But let me say this before I go.
Real quick, because we got to close. Real quick, we have to close.
Real quick. I just would like to say that we need to quit voting for people and hope that they do the right thing. We need to quit voting for people that say the right things and then turn around and do the wrong things.
There you go.
And last but not least, I'm trying to give people something to vote for instead of something to vote against. So again, number 7, March the 20th, Harold John, www.voteharoldjohn.com. Thank you very much.
All right, good people watching A Better Life, get out and vote this Saturday. There's many candidates, and so get out and vote in District 2, U.S. congressional race. And thank you, Mr. Harold John, for being here today, for watching A Better Life. Thank you, people.
Thank you, Hank. I sure appreciate you and WLFT for having me here as today.
God bless all. Thank you all.